All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at how AP may present to you a couple different questions regarding comparative advantage. So, comparative advantage is all about opportunity cost. So, as always, we'll take a look at two trading partners. We'll call them country A and country B, and two goods, which we'll call sandwiches and tractors. Sandwiches represent consumer goods. Tractors represent capital goods. And since we're talking about countries, we'd be applying this at a macroeconomic level. You would, of course, need to be able to calculate the actual comparative costs themselves. And just for sake of time, I'm going to give you the numbers. Let's say it costs country A to produce one tractor, they must forego 5 sandwiches. And for country B, one tractor will cost them 3 sandwiches. Many times on an AP problem, they're going to give you guys a chart like we did in class, and you're going to be asked to have to figure out these costs. To be able to find the cost of one sandwich, I just use some mathematical reasoning. Algebraically, I can divide both sides of these by 5, and that tells me how much one sandwich would cost. Over here, divide both these numbers by 3, and that will tell me what one sandwich will cost. And what I see is that country A, it's going to cost them 5 sandwiches to produce one tractor. Country B is going to cost them 3 sandwiches to produce one tractor, which tells me that country B has a lower opportunity cost. They only must forego 3 sandwiches as opposed to 5. So we would argue that country B should specialize in tractors, ladies and gentlemen, as it only costs them 3 sandwiches as opposed to 5 sandwiches. When I look at the sandwich, I notice that country A only has to forego 1/5 of a tractor, but country B must forego more, which is 1/3 of a tractor. So that means that country A should specialize in sandwiches. Okay, if country A is specializing in sandwiches, but they want tractors, they must trade. If country B is specializing in tractors, but wants sandwiches, they must trade. That jumps into what exactly the country will be exporting. They'll export what they specialize in, and they're going to import what they need to trade for. And once again, it's just going to work in the opposite direction. So at a macroeconomic level, we've identified the comparative costs. We've identified that specialization trade is advantageous to both countries. So now it just comes down to what exactly will be the cost of the trades themselves. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's the purpose of the price system at a microeconomic level. As communication is set in and prices are moving, and it allows producers and consumers to make decisions in their own best interest. In terms of macroeconomic, let's just take a look at, in theory, what is mutually advantageous to both countries. Well, let's talk first of all about one tractor. Well, who's making the tractors? That definitely is going to be country B. And they're going to be trading this one tractor, and they're going to be getting sandwiches. Now, they could give up one tractor and actually cost them 3 sandwiches. They would get 3 sandwiches instead. So they would like to be able to get more than what they do on their own. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we would say is at that point in time, that one tractor from country B's perspective, they'll trade if they can get more than 3 sandwiches. Well, let's take a look at it. Who's giving up the sandwiches? That would be country A. Country A, typically they, to get one tractor, must give up 5 sandwiches. So if they can trade less than 4 sandwiches to get that one tractor, that would be mutually beneficial. So what that means is that on the world stage, this one tractor will be trading between 3 sandwiches and 5 sandwiches, which makes it, whatever that value would be, mutually beneficial to country A and to country B. We could take the same reasoning and look it up from the perspective of a sandwich. So who is producing sandwiches? Well, that's country A. So what do we know? We know to produce one sandwich, it costs them 1/5 of a tractor. So to get a tractor, they certainly have a cost they could do on their own. So, since they're getting the tractors for a sandwich, they definitely want to get more than 1/5, which would have been the cost of a sandwich done on their own. Ladies and gentlemen, so we definitely know that this one sandwich is going to trade for more than 1/5 of a tractor from country A's perspective. Well, who's given up these tractors? That would be country B. We know country B, to get this one sandwich on their own, they have to give up 1/3 of a tractor. So if they could possibly give up less than 1/3 of a tractor to get this one sandwich, that would be advantageous to them. So what do we have here? We have what are called the terms of trade. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if I can get this out of the way. There we go. This is a compound inequality that sets the upper and lower parameters of mutually advantageous trade. AP may give you a number that exists in between, or it just may ask for a number that exists in between. But no matter what that number is, as long as it works within these parameters, once again, notice none of these are equal, then it benefits both countries.